Today I want to talk to you about the design terrier, which is the American Hairless Terrier. So by design terrier I mean a designer dog. It's actually a mutation of the Rat Terrier, they know in America, United States of America, and which was developed especially to hunt rats out of breeds, especially from Europe, being Fox Terrier, Bull Terrier breeds, such as American Staffordshire Terrier, which was developed out of Pit Bull, and American Pit Bull Terrier especially, which are breeds that came from the pit dogs of England and Ireland and Scotland. Also, these type of dogs have often some running dog genes in them, especially those of Whippet origin. And Whippet is also a small, not too small, but perhaps medium-sized running dog, sidehound, which adds additional speed and also other benefits, because they're quite feisty for being sidehounds, running dogs. They had in the past already some terrier blood infused in them, which gives them more tenacity, more ferociousness for sidehounds, especially for that small size. And also they added perhaps a little bit of hound blood sometimes, especially beagle blood. Goedemorgen. This depends on what the purposes were. The same can be said about the introduction of, for example, a large amount of American Staffordshire Terrier or Pit Bull Terrier blood, which also bumps up the size quite a bit. But sometimes they were facing bigger problems than only rats. And these dogs are farm dogs. So for example, if they had a lot of troubles with coyotes, then it would be nice that you have a little bit more buffer and stronger blood in them. Or if you use them also for guarding property, a little bit of American Staffordshire Terrier, which is also a show version of American Pit Bull Terrier. It was also used by some as a more general type of farm dog. You see a nice beagle coming in front of us, also very small and very nimble. Feisty. Goedemorgen. Hey, wat lief. Zie je? That beagle that you saw there was for current time show beagles on the small size, very small. But I think it has some hunting beagle background. It's also quite feisty for a beagle. Yes, you saw something, I thought I saw it too. Could be a mice or something. Mouse. It's gone now. But anyway, it gives you a little bit of background about the Rat Terrier. And this is also of importance for the American Hairless Terrier. So likewise has been seen with the Rat Terrier. The American Hairless Terrier comes in different sizes, albeit not as small as the smallest Rat Terrier that they had, but still quite small, and also more medium or a little bit bigger. Also not the biggest Rat Terriers that have a lot of American Staffordshire Terrier or American Pit Bull Terrier blood, I guess. But they do have that background, although they are not as much a working breed. And why not? I will come back to this later. The thing that discriminates the Rat Terrier from the American Hairless Terrier is the coat. So, whereas Rat Terriers have normal coats like this one, as the dog on the leash here is a black felt terrier, a breed from England, developed to hunt foxes, especially, but also used on badgers, rats, hogs, swine, and nutria, and sometimes other quarry as well. Especially in the United States, the small ones are used on groundhogs, and the big ones are used on raccoons. Okay, but I digress. So what happened is that they found in the litter one without a coat, so a naked one, so to say, a mutation, and they bred it to another one that was naked. After they already bred them before to dogs that had normal coats, and interbred those descendants again, because the naked gene is recessive, so you need 2 recessive genes to bring it up, and this mutation has then been developed into a breed, but you can imagine the gene pool was very limited to start with. Only 2 that had it occurring naturally, and then they bred from that, which makes it a breed that was developed for this characteristic, being a more aesthetic characteristic, which has some benefits for people who have trouble with dog hairs. For example, that it irritates them or they have allergy. But please look at the beautiful sun, milky sun. But please keep in mind that allergy is especially done by drooling, scratching, and still the American Hairless Terriers has nails, can drool, and all those other stuff. So it might be a lot less compared to a dog with hair, but it could very well still mean that you're allergic to this breed. But it is qualified as a hypoallergenic breed. For the hypoallergenic breeds you can go 2 ways. One being naked, the hairless varieties, and 2 to go long, silky hair or curled hairs, often one coat that has that characteristic, but sometimes even with the double coats, if they don't lose the hairs naturally, and when they do that, the hairs cannot be inhaled because they are that heavy. The curled hairs are very heavy compared to the length, and also often clitted together, knotted together. And the other thing is that even they say that the hairs cannot be inhaled to the small bronchi in your lungs. That's a hypothesis. But that is just something to take into consideration. Don't think that a hypoallergenic breed will not give any reactions, because normally they do, or can at least. The other thing is, I mentioned that this is not a working breed. You can imagine this quite easily. The mutation is not something that nature intended, so it doesn't offer the protection against cold or scratches, all the other stuff. It even needs to be treated to prevent sunburn or just getting hardened wrinkles that will just keep on infecting. so it takes a lot more care. And Rat Terrier were just sturdy working dogs that were on the farm, and even sometimes fend for themselves their food by killing rodents. And even if the American Hairless Terrier could be the same in hunting properties, it still is hindered a lot by its coat when it would scratch after those rats and push itself to narrow gates. It will get hurt, and also it will lose a lot of energy because it cannot contain it, because it doesn't have a coat. So please keep this in mind. A lot of people tell that they are the same, they have the same properties, which is a lie. They have a natural disadvantage by the coat, and they were selected on this property not on their hunting and killing prowess, which is a lot different than a lot of the Rat Terriers in the farms were and are still being kept. That being said, it is a nice athletic type of terrier. It also suffers from more diseases than the coated variety, the Rat Terrier. It also doesn't come in as a working variety, which the Rat Terrier can, and working varieties are often a lot stronger and better and healthier. So that's the problem. Another problem is that the gene pool was very limited when creating this breed, which also still keeps that small foundation gene pool as a problem in today's American Hairless Terrier. That being said, it is a terrier. Terriers are on average quite hardy, healthy breeds, and also it is not that big. It is not that heavy build, so the joints don't have too much exposure and stress, and it is a very nice sleek build. It's also quite fast. It's a very nice naked type of dog, and I would prefer it over, for example, the Chinese naked dog or the Mexican hairless dog a lot. Also because of the character, which is a lot more terrier-like, and thereby also a lot more bold and nice and predictable in its interactions. I'm not saying that it will be a nicer dog to other dogs from the same sex, because that's a terrier temperament often. But it is a nice dog in the predictability that you know what you get, instead of being more of a random guess how it will act this time. Okay, I hope you liked this video and it answers some of your questions that you had about the American Hairless Terrier. It is also called the AHT as a abbreviation. That was the word I was looking for. Have a nice day. Bye bye.